Now, for many reasons, historical, cultural and practical, Chinese people have a well-won reputation as obsessive savers. A recent McKinsey report showed that the average Chinese family saves around 25% of its discretionary income. And even though that rate has dropped substantially from over 50% 4 years ago, it's still about 6 times the savings rate for US households and 3 times the rate for Japan's.
In fact, China's savings rate is 15 percentage points above the GDP-weighted average for Asia as a region. Many argue that Chinese people save so much because of a deficient healthcare and pension system. Others say that they want to be able to provide education and housing for their children. So what do people here feel is their greatest financial outlay? We asked some ordinary Chinese people what they consider to be their heaviest financial burden. Here's what they had to say in today's edition of Straight from the Street.
I believe the biggest pressure comes from housing. My son just bought an apartment nearby, $230 per square foot. It's really an unbelievably high price. So we borrowed money from the bank and we will repay it for the rest of our lives. I've come from my hometown in Shanxi to give him a hand.
I think the biggest burden is mainly from the apartment that we are not really able to afford.
These days in Beijing, the price for a normal apartment is around $300,000. How can a working-class family with a yearly income of only $7,000 afford that?
For me, I think bringing up a child consumes a lot of our income. We spend money on his food and clothing, and as well as high education costs, which puts us under a lot of financial pressure.
Well, Tom, from those comments, people are primarily concerned about housing. Strange that no one mentioned healthcare costs.
Yeah, healthcare is usually a big concern for people here, and costs can be very, very high indeed. But people who ask for this edition of Straight from the Street, anyway, will ask about actual costs rather than costs that might come up in the future, potential costs. So that's
right.
possibly why there was more of a focus on things like housing.
They've already spent, yeah.